7 approved. Next is the consent agenda, which is approval of the minutes of the previous meeting and approval of our disbursements. Are there any comments or corrections to the consent agenda?
Move we approve the consent agenda.
Second. Motion by Donna Allen, second by Richard Zaccardelli to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative with 1 absent. The consent agenda is also approved. Next is public forum. Anyone wishing to speak at public forum? Let me read this, Charlie, and then you can come on out if I can find it. All persons wishing to speak to the mayor and board of aldermen during the public comment portion of the meeting should come forward one at a time and stand at the podium. Then state your name and address and the subject matter you wish to comment upon. All comments should be directed to the mayor in a civil manner. Comments are limited to 5 minutes unless the mayor or board of aldermen grants additional time. It is the mayor's responsibility to make certain these rules are followed and to maintain order and decorum. If you have a question, the mayor and board of aldermen may, of course, provide an immediate response. However, the mayor and board of aldermen may also provide no response or a response at a later time as they deem appropriate. Now, are there any public comments?
Yes, sir. I think.
Name and address, sir.
Okay, first, I'm Charlie Clark, 8284 County Road 290, Carl Junction, Missouri. You know the zip code.
That's fine.
Okay. Most of you know me, I think. I don't know. Some of you know me, all right? Hopefully that's good. I'm here to make a request for property that I own west of town on JJ Highway. Moved here in 1972, 48 years ago, to that property. And had 2 daughters, 4 grandchildren, graduated from all schools. Moved here for the schools, as many have since then. This property on JJ, County Road 290, and which is the only north-south artery from 96 to 32nd Street, paved artery west of Joplin. Okay. I have listed that property for sale and have some serious developers interested in the property to develop as many as 64 homes on the property. The utilities, electricity, water, and gas are close or there to this property. We don't have sewer. We need a lift station for the sewer, which we've known for a time. I don't know where it needs to be or how much it costs. That's up to the engineers. But that many homes, it's already in the city limits, been there for years. More than the 48 years that I've been there, it's always been the city limits. I have a street sold to the school through that property, a 50-foot street. It's actually a property of the school now that is coming through, and that street, to me, it has a great value, will have a great value to the city, to the school, and to the developer. So I know it costs money, but the cost goes out to be worked in a partnership. So the other, like I said, the other utilities are there. We need the lift station. I know that the city spent over $200,000 on the annex property, their bill, Stansbury, for 7 houses and a lift station. And I feel like this property in the city limits at 67 homes warrants the attention of the city to put a lift station there for this development, since that's the only thing really holding up and all of it. For tax base, thank you, and if you have any questions, I'd entertain.
Got a comment, Steve? I mean, do that or?
Yes, developers have done all of that before, except for that one lift station that we put in at, on Stansbury's property, just west of that corner of JJ.
Okay. LaDonna?
How much would it take to put a lift station in there? Just
Like Mr. Clark said, somewhere around 200,000, and on location, how many homes and the size. You know, that's all stuff to figure out when they're doing it.
Well, I guess the budget committee will need to go over this in the budget to see if they want to do this or whatever, present something to the council.
If I remember right, when Charlie and I had talked about it, there's a break in the land there where part of that land actually flows south already.
Yeah, 150 feet south of my property line is where that street is, Solon School, is most of the break, and that goes south, yes. And we already have sewer to my house and my red house next door that flows north in the other district, right, Steve?
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure we'll evaluate. Yes, Mike?
How many acres are we talking about here?
It started out as 10 acres with that street through there, which is 700 by 50, and 15 feet off the south. It remains to be 6 and 2, basically, roughly 8 acres left.
You're gonna get 67 houses on 8 acres?
No, that, they would, if they did that, I have some more lots in front of my house that they were interested in. So this, it would probably be 6 off of that, 6 or 7. So we're still talking over 50 houses in that property they're talking about. And they've looked at it and they've assessed that.
Thank you.
Yes, Gary?
So, well, I was going with the number 64 houses and dividing into the last number, we had 200,000, about 3,000 per home to bring them into our property tax, our water and wastewater. Is that fair?
That sounds about right, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Charlie? We'll take it under the budget committee. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Anybody else in public forum? Well, certainly.
My name is Martha Deese. I'm representing the Carl Junction Chamber, 205 North Main here in Carl Junction. And I have a new boss, and I would like to introduce him to you. This is Kevin Ostedeman. Hello.
Hi, Kevin. Welcome.
Now,
Oh, I'm gonna speak now, okay.
If you want to. You only have 5 minutes.
Well, I like to talk. No, I just wanted to come in and I just say I'm very, very excited to be a part of this community and be a part of the chamber and work with the city and schools and just be involved as much as I can.
Great.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you, thank you,
Glad you're here.
thank you.
Any other people wishing to speak at public forum? Last call for public forum if no one steps up here. Very well, then we'll move right along. Next is P&Z cases. P&Z case 2007, purchase of land from Community Residents Incorporated for road purposes. You want to talk about this, Steve?
P&Z tried to meet last night. We did not have a quorum, so you do not have a recommendation from P&Z for the property. But in talks with Mr. Talley, I'll turn it over to him and he can describe it.
Yes, Planning and Zoning Commission has to make a recommendation regarding the purchase of property by the city. So that is a necessary precondition to moving forward with purchase of this property. We have an ordinance approving and a contract for the purchase of the property. The contract has already been signed by the other party. We got that in today, and it's been distributed to you to sign a copy. My suggestion is that when we get to the ordinance, that it be amended so that the section 5, which says this ordinance shall take effect from and after the passage and approval, be amended to read that this ordinance shall take effect from and after a favorable recommendation by Planning and Zoning Commission for the purchase of this property. Therefore, we would have that recommendation as we're required to have prior to the effect, this ordinance actually becoming effective. That's the sleight of hand, the best sleight of hand I can do to move forward with this tonight.
Yes, I like it.
And time, Mary Beth and I were reminiscing. I got involved in this in the summer of 2019 after other city officials and engineers gave up attempts to negotiate for this property. This has been going on for
Too long.
almost 2 years anyhow. And we're running out of time. So we have the option of holding on that ordinance till our next council meeting. But if you choose to do the amendment and make it effective when planning and zoning has approved the purchase of the property on these terms, I think that's probably in the city's interest. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Tully. Did you get what the amendment's gonna be, Mary Beth? Did you write down what he said and get what the amendment's gonna be? When we get to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess the P and Z case is, we're done with it since you didn't meet
Correct. And
So-
P and Z meets next Monday.
next Monday, so we'll have this case on for the next meeting. Very good. Next is ordinances. An ordinance approving the purchase of land from Community Residents Incorporated for road purposes.
Move we put this ordinance on first reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Roger Spencer. We put this ordinance on first reading by title only. Will clerk please read the title? We can amend during discussion.
Okay. She's going to have to read it twice more. But that's-
Oh, she will?
But that's okay.
Well, no, let's don't do it then. It's a long, somebody put a really long description in here.
So do I need to withdraw my motion? But he will have to withdraw his second.
Yes.
Okay,
I withdraw my motion.
Oh, draw a second.
okay, very good then.
And now I move that we amend the ordinance to show that it will take effect after a favorable recommendation from planning and zoning
In section 5.
in section 5.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Donna Allen that we amend this section, second by Gary Stubblefield. All those in favor of adding this amendment to the ordinance, signify by raising your right hand. Gary, you can vote for it.
Oh, I.
7 in the affirmative with 1 absent. The ordinance has been amended. So since it's been amended now,
Now I move, sorry.
no, go for it.
I move we put this ordinance on first reading by title only as amended.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Roger Spencer, that we put this ordinance on first reading by title only as amended. Will the clerk please read the title?
And orders approving the contract for the sale of interest in real estate between the city of Junction, Missouri and Community Residents Incorporated, a Missouri corporation, authorizing the city to purchase a 160-foot by 60-foot tract of land in the city of Junction, Jasper County, Missouri, as more fully described in the body of this ordinance. Authorizing the city to accept a corporation warranty deed to said land from and Community Residents Incorporated, authorizing the payment of $13,562 to purchase said land, and authorizing the mayor, clerk, and such other officers of the city as may be necessary to execute and process such documents as may be necessary to conclude said purchase.
Discussion.
Yes, sir.
Everybody knows what we're buying, Mike?
I do know, but I haven't seen a sketch or anything of a final plan. This piece of land looks like it goes straight north of Peace Church and then dead ends into somebody's property. And so I don't know.
That's
It is,
correct.
I have a draft of a drawing, and it's not completed yet, that takes the road in directly off of Peace Church, so it's lined up, takes a 90-degree turn, and then goes basically up Silver
Oak.
Silver Oaks.
Yeah, so
Are we
we have
agreed
to
with
have a final plat.
And they're incorporating this land into the drawing to get that road in there. So
We don't have a plat for, it's prior plat, or whatever it is, 6.
Right.
This is plat 6.
But we think that that developer is on board with our plan here.
Well, we talked to you about 2
Yes.
years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to make it because this
Yeah.
piece of land does us no good, basically, unless that
Exactly,
developer is.
yeah, exactly.
And Schuber Mitchell, the developer, is well aware of what's.
Sure, aware of what we're doing, yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, it's pretty much straight off Peace Church, but there's a little bit of a
We'll be straight off Peach Church.
They'll line the roads up.
Fair enough.
Any further discussion?
Yeah,
Richard?
we really need that road so Silver Oaks can go through for all the new homes that are being built in that area. To ease up the Marie over on the residential care. You know, for a long time, I've been trying to get that road reduced to 25 miles an hour. Everywhere I've been, wherever there's a residential care, it's 15 miles an hour. I try to get it knocked down to 20. We need another exit in that area for the police department, the fire department, and the people who live there. That's all I have here.
And hopefully we get a roundabout there eventually. That would be ideal, but
Hopefully.
that's on down the road. Any further discussion?
Move we put this ordinance on second reading by title only as amended.
Motion, God, be so quiet. Motion by Donna Allen, second by Roger Spencer to put this ordinance on second reading by title only as amended. Will the clerk please read the title?
And ordinance approving a contract for the sale of interest in real estate between the city of Carthage, Missouri and Community Resident Incorporated of Missouri Corporation, authorizing the city to purchase a 160-foot by 60-foot tract of land in the city of Carl Junction, Jasper County, Missouri, as more fully described in the body of this ordinance. Authorizing the city to accept a corporation warranty deed to said land from Community Residents Incorporated, authorizing the payment of $13,562 to purchase said land, and authorizing the mayor, clerk, and such other officers of the city as may be necessary to execute and process such documents as may be necessary to complete said purchase.
Is there any further discussion? Mike?
So after the rest of that plat is developed and we own this stretch of land with the road on it, do we deed that back over to,
No, because the road bed on it will be public improvements that we will own, just like any other street in town.
That's all I have. Anything else? Any further discussion?
Move we put this ordinance on final passage.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Rick Flynn. Thank you, Rick. This is a hand vote to go to electronic voting. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative, 1 absent. Please vote electronically. Vote is 7-0 with 1 absent. The ordinance passes. That's ordinance number
2027.
2027. Thank you. Next on the agenda is reports. The administrator's report. Any comments, corrections, or gripes for the city administrator?
One change on there, I don't think we got in quick enough, but that was, we got our letter of determination from FEMA.
Oh, good.
A signed letter of determination finally instead of draft, and so we will be getting our response to that sit in to
Okay.
them to try to convince them otherwise.
Yeah. All righty. Anything else for the city administrator? Not? Very good. Going along, go to department reports. Oh, let's see what we got here. We got a building inspector's report in here. If anybody wants to look at that, they can comment on it.
Been busy.
How many roofs has he done? Only 122 roofing inspections again. Amazing. Nothing for the building inspector's report? Very good. Then we will go on to Public Works. Any comments for Jimmy?
I have one.
Richard?
The leaves are falling, Jimmy.
Early.
Anything else? We may not be picking up leaves until last week of November this year. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, because they're early.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's a little catch problem. But we'll worry about that later. Next is PD report. I believe we have a letter from the chief. Just to let you know, Chief, I talked to Steve today, and he went out for bids to see what it's going to cost to put that road into the, wherever it is, the shooting range.
Well, we're gonna do that. I would like to meet with them because there's places to do it a little different than what that estimate from.
Well, we can put that, just, if you want to get a map and tell you what you want to do or something like that, if you can do it, or
We can do something. or
if they'd like to come out and look at it with him, you can tell them exactly what you want to do. They all need to bid the
There's
same.
ways to do it different than that.
They all need to bid the same. That's all I want to make sure they do.
I don't know if you have any other questions on it.
Any other comments for the, yes, Mike?
How far is it from where you currently can drive a vehicle to where you need to go?
I'm sorry.
How far is it from where you need to go to from the farthest you can
Where
get
we
with a
can
vehicle?
park where it is, well, that road's 700 foot.
I'm just saying, $10,000 is the one estimate. Is quite a bit of money when 700 foot doesn't seem like that far of a walk. I don't know.
That's what I asked for council direction. We do need base rock on the bottom of that range because it is a three-sided range which retains some water during rain. I'll do whatever you want. It just really comes to a point where.
All we're doing now is going out for bids. You guys are gonna have to approve that, so if you don't like it, I mean, that's an instant from Asbel, I mean,
That's just, and that's just.
that may come in at $2,000, who knows?
Okay.
That's an estimate from Jacob. They
Yeah.
went out and looked at it and they went a different route that I would have went. But I wasn't there when they did that. And the other part, they didn't include the limestone.
Yeah, this is just basic information, I mean, you guys will get to discuss it and vote on it and everything else, we'll have to have a contract and everything else when we get
It's
ready.
really not just walking down there, it's having to take all the equipment down there, ammunition, target stands, targets. We built target stands, we built targets. I believe Jimmy wants to do it and you guys keep him busy.
Yeah,
That's the problem. It's been a couple of years now, so we're trying to get, I'm trying to get a lot of things wrapped up in the next year. And this is one of those projects that they tore the O-range out and went to the point of building us something much better than what we had in a much better direction and worked much better for us. And a possibility for rifle range of being up to 150 yards probably. We have been, like I said, yes, you can park up there on the hill and walk down there, but we've got to have the bottom of that covered so that we can walk through it, measure it off, add the stands up, and have a safe place to work. So that's why I brought it up.
LaDonna?
While we're going out for bids, because then I know the next step will be budget meeting to see how we could pay for any of this. Is there any way we can recoup any of that from EPA? Like for the road, since they went in and moved and we had to build the new.
Actually, the problem was the tornado because we stacked a bunch of vegetation in
Well,
there.
and there's ways around that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still there, but there's
We can
ways
get around it. Probably not.
Just trying.
Yeah.
Stretching that budget.
Anything else for the chief?
I guess I can ask the chief here, or I can bring this up in old business. Did you check on our camper down there by the creek in 171?
Yeah.
It seems to be growing.
We have
There's
a little
cars
bit of-
down there.
We have a little bit on city property. Most of that, I believe, is on the state right of way. I've talked to MoDOT about it. They don't allow, what you don't see in that is there are 2 camping trailers, a tent, and a motorhome under the bridge. You don't see that driving by. I've contacted MoDOT, talked to them. This is not a local problem. This is all over the state problem. And once you start trying to move the homeless, you create a problem, and they're trying to decide what their statewide policy is going to be. I understand the situation. They've chosen that. And it's not city park, It might be partial that park situation they've got set up maybe on some city property, but that's an angle right there with also some MoDOT right-of-way property, so. Yes, I've gotten calls on it. Yes, I've gotten emails on it, but the one thing I am assured to do for the city, we have to protect everybody's civil rights, because we don't want, because it's a cycle, we don't want to go in there, clean it out, kick it out, and end up with an AC lawsuit. So we're trying to go about this the right way.
Richard?
Yeah, is that in the area that floods?
I'm sorry.
Is that in
Yes.
the area
Yeah.
that floods?
Sure.
Yes.
So the next flood will probably clean it up then.
That may be in March.
We don't know when that's gonna happen, but
Well-
they're gonna have to move that stuff. when water
Yeah,
comes
but
up.
we don't have to mess around with their freedom.
But to this point, we're not seeing city ordinance violations, we're not seeing the increase in crime, increase in traffic. Part of them are going to work. When they were out there today talking to them, there was only one lady there. Some of the people that were there had moved into economic security housing. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I realize Steve gets them, Mayor gets them, I get them, you guys hear about it. But rest assured, we have to protect everybody's civil rights, no matter whether, and in those cases, they have a lot more than maybe I do. So we want to approach that carefully and cautiously so we don't end up with somebody taking care of the legal end of that form, so.
Ladonna?
ODOT, when I talk to them, they send a highway patrol because it's their property and they don't allow that, but it's happening all over the state. They're trying to come up with a statewide way to handle that so that they're uniform across the state. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that, but they're aware of it.
Great.
Yeah.
Ladonna?
I just wanted to clarify, I checked right after I got here what I talked to you about. The suspicious activity, I guess, took place last night, they said, and it was actually the walking trail on the north side of Center Creek, right there. They said to the east of the trail. I guess there was a guy that, as people were approaching, kind of went and crouched down, and they could hear voices, and there was a van.
I mean, just, and I try to convince everybody, call us. Because when we find out about it 4 hours after, 12 hours after, there's not much we can do. We're gonna check it out.
Yeah, I guess it
We
kind of
had
spooked them.
One, maybe theft out of vehicle, some medication over here on this side of town. That's one thing we've had quite some time, but I'm not 100% sure what happened. So we've been relatively peaceful and ongoing. That could change in a minute, but that's the way it is right now. We've not had a call out about that with them.
That was the fentanyl case?
What's that?
Was that the fentanyl case, Chief?
No, that wasn't anything to do with fentanyl. Intelligence, the cartels are putting fentanyl in their heroin, or putting fentanyl in their cocaine, or putting fentanyl in the methamphetamine, making it go longer because they can produce the chemicals very easily. Whether that's had anything to do with their overdose or if it's something they've added to it, we're waiting toxicology on the third. We haven't had one in 15 years. We've had 3 of them in 6 months, and 2 of those deaths were directly fentanyl related. So it's out there and it's dangerous. 4 nanograms per milliliter, or 4 milliliters per nanograms per milliliter of blood is a fatal dosage. So when you're seeing people with 11 and 14, you're not going to save them unless you're right there. And Narcan will work. Narcan doesn't work when we get a call 5 hours after they overdose. We'll get it longer. So.
Anything else for the chief? Very well. Thank you, chief. Appreciate it. Okay, moving right along. I think that's done with department reports. Let's go to committee reports. Let's see what we got. Got anybody on the committee here? Budget and finance, Ladonna?
Well, we met a week ago to discuss funding for a proposed purchase of a front loader for Public Works. And I can give you that update now. We do have reserves in 3, we have accrual accounts, 3 different accounts that we can pull that from. So should the council approve a purchase, the funds are available. Also, we had some discussion. We're going to want to go into a little earlier talks this year on a contract renewal with the Chamber of Commerce. Steve has been tasked with taking care of that and making sure that both parties are represented in it and we get a fair, equitable contract. And after tonight, I guess we need to schedule a meeting to discuss a possible lift station over on Charlie's property. Bob is not here, but Rick and Gary, would you be available at like 4 o'clock on a Tuesday? Does that day still work good for you guys?
Yeah. Yes.
Rick, you want to try to meet next Tuesday so maybe he can get an answer for developers?
Yes.
Okay. Next Tuesday at 4, can we put and that will be a public meeting, so Anybody who wants to attend?
13.
Bring this up under new business.
You can bring it up in your committee report. Yeah, either one.
And other than that, if you have no questions, that's all I have to update.
Anything else for LaDonna? Very well. Code and nuisance, Rick Flynn.
Nothing, sir.
Human resources, Roger Spencer.
Yes, sir. We got a new evaluation that's coming out. The committee went over it, didn't find anything wrong with it. The wording seemed to be all right. The only thing of it is, instead of doing it just for one person now, we're doing it for 4. It's going to be Steve, Mary Beth, Public Works, and Police Department. Okay? So we got the new one here, and I think Mr. Talley's got it, the original, right?
I think I have that. I think Steve sent it to me.
Okay.
I think I have that. And I can certainly, I know where to get it.
So when we gonna do this?
Well, this will be the new one, probably starting, November? We'll be doing it in November.
Okay. Anything else for Roger? Very good. Public facilities and planning, Mark.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Senior citizens, Richard.
Yeah, of course, we're still waiting to hear from the federal government when we can reopen, and I'm sure that's a long way away. So in the meantime, Tammy Lynch has really got a lot of things going on. Martha just brought a note to me tonight. And on Thursday, this Thursday, there'll be drive-through flu shots, Medicare and insurance cards, from 10 a.m. to 1. And Friday on the 9th, they're having a parking lot bingo. Amazing. And the next item is grab and go lunch, and it's going to be funded by Foxbury Terrace, and they call the center by October 16 to reserve. And then on 10/28, they got again the taco salad reserved by October 16. And if I remember me telling you, they had over 80 seniors that came for the taco salad. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other thing for Richard? Senior citizens. Very good. Unfinished business. Rick.
No, sir.
Richard.
No, I have nothing there.
No.
Roger. I have nothing. LaDonna.
No, sir.
Mike.
No, sir.
Mark.
No, sir.
Garrett.
No, Mayor.
Mr. Talon.
No, Mayor.
No, sir.
Okay. Elena, I know. Mary Beth.
Yes, sir.
Crystal.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you do.
A couple of things. First off is I laid a memorandum there for your recommendation to purchase the front end loader. As you know, I've been searching for one or Jimmy and I have actually been searching for one for a couple of years. Finally found one that's a good price, and it is a good piece of equipment. It's in nice shape. Victor L. Phillips, our local case dealer, has other dealerships, and this one is actually in Garden City, Kansas, and it will be delivered to us for that price of $95,000. And so I would make that recommendation that we purchase that.
Can we get Jimmy's okay on that?
Jimmy, are you okay with us buying that loader?
Yes. And LaDonna, you say we have the money for it.
The funds are available should the council approve.
So what are we gonna do? We gotta just
I need
write a
a
check after it, have an ordinance.
This is going to be a cash purchase.
cash purchase, but I do need to have you guys make a motion.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm just talking about,
I don't think we need more than the motion.
just a motion. Okay.
I move that, we purchase this front end loader for $95,000.
Second.
Motion by Mark Sadler, second by Roger Spencer to purchase a loader for $95,000 from Victor L. Phillips. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 affirmative, 1 absent. We can purchase the loader.
Next on my list is we're coming up into a pretty busy part of the year for the community center. And we, as you know, we still have the senior center closed down. And we're limiting groups and that type of thing into the gym, but we get busier as we come up. BYAA is getting ready for basketball. So they have asked about what we are going to do for that. We have a holiday bazaar coming up that uses the gymnasium, which is the craft people that the Leo's Club bring in for a craft sale. That's coming up. We have the Christmas parade that the Lions Club puts on that they always use the building also. And I would like a little help and guidance on where you want me to go with these larger events like that. CDC does have some recommendations for these type of things, and that they're saying it's okay to have them as long as you can get people spread out. Keep that distance, still limit the number of people that come into them. I've talked to, I have not talked to the Lions Club yet. I have talked to the Leo's Club, and they are willing to space out their vendors a lot more, reduce the number of vendors that come in. They would even make recommendations that people wear masks if they need to. I've talked to BYAA, and we've talked a little bit about the scheduling of their ball games, and that we spread that schedule out. So instead of having a lot of people coming in and a lot of people going out at the same time, they would put a gap in between the games so that you could get people in and out without having to cross as much, through the doors. On the senior center side of getting that opened up for rentals, I've had lots of questions lately of people wanting to rent that again for a little bit larger group. I did talk to Tammy about it. Tammy would like to be responsible for the cleaning and the disinfecting after those groups. And what they would do is we would tack on a extra $100 fee onto the cleaning for that disinfection process. That we would actually collect that up front from the rental, people renting it, and then we would pay the policy committee. We would actually pay the policy committee that $100 so that the money stayed here in our senior center instead of going to AAOA. If all of that sounds okay, or if you want additional things to go in on it, or don't like some of it, I need to start moving on this stuff pretty quick because it's going to start getting more and more.
I have one question. I have to say this. I can remember when everybody said when we were building this that nobody would use it.
Yeah.
And now
Not
now
a
we
problem,
can.
is it?
No, it ain't big enough.
Now it isn't big enough.
Yeah, that's not big enough.
So,
If those sound good to you guys,
so what kind of regulations you gonna have?
I think for the, I think I would go with the holiday bazaar recommendation that they've set up already, that they would limit the number of vendors to come in, spread the vendors out. And also, they would request that people wear masks when they come in.
Just recommend that they do.
Yeah, that they recommend that they do. For BYAA, I'd talk a little bit more with Sean Liggett, the president of that. And I'd try to sit down with him a little bit on that scheduling, try to get the schedules, because basically they run from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock. There's no reason why we can't spread that out a little bit.
Put a 30-minute window between.
Put a 15 to 30-minute window in between each game so that people can pass safely, and try to get them, let them make a recommendation that
They're
people
fans.
limit, and if they want to wear a mask, make a mask recommendation too, also, but
Okay.
that type of thing.
On the center, we should make sure who's going to be there, who's going to use it. We don't want some wild group going in there
Oh, no, I mean, they have to fill out the rental forms anyway. So
Okay.
it's, yeah.
Well, I guess our golf group won't be there.
Mr. Briarbrook is out.
Yes, Gary.
So, this morning I spoke with Leona about their plans for after the parade, and they're not going to do what they normally do, to come here. However,
I have not talked to her.
well, I also spoke to Santa today. And he might be willing to come here after the parade if we can come up with a way that it pleases everyone. And we are not locked into
Santa's
that.
gonna have a mask on underneath
Well,
that beard.
and it may be, he may just be the parade, but if there's a way to do photos,
Okay.
we're
I'll get with.
we're looking for guidance, for, on that later. Jeez.
We're out. I should have known it was you.
Mr. Mayor. Do we know what the CDC recommendation on large gathering is as far as for basketball games?
I have a 15-page document in there that I did not make it all the way through, specifically for youth sports. My understanding is that they changed that today, and I do not have the current one. This is one that they used on August 20th. So hopefully they've got it updated on their website. But everything on it is still the same. They are still encouraging the 6 foot. They are still encouraging masks. They are encouraging hand disinfection. They really want the limiting. They're even saying that they want encouraging, not encouraging competition, but encouraging basic learning skills instead of encouraging competition. No games.
LaDonna.
Just a note on that, and this is my opinion, the school has opened up their sports. I mean, they're watching everything very closely. These kids in the BYA group are even lower risk if you look at the CDC as far as their age groups and stuff. And I think if they start to see issues through the school will communicate well with BYA, and I know they're doing the contact tracing and stuff. I say we open it up, like you say, just kind of with spacing and getting it out more, but I think it's time we start using the facility. And if people aren't comfortable, coming in, I mean, it's not a mandatory thing, they have to, so. I think we just take some common sense approaches and let people get back to life, in my opinion.
Any other discussion on it? Anybody have a problem with what Steve's proposing?
I think it sounds good.
All right, go with it.
Very good. Is that, you done now?
Yes, sir.
Jimmy, any unfinished business?
Yeah.
Chief?
Yeah, a little bit. It'll take long. There was discussion about the open position in the police department, and we're halfway through the budget year, pretty close. I've got a 10-year veteran from a bigger department who's looking to downsize. Not an immediate right now, but certainly I want to consider somebody who's mature and morally and ethically grounded who will do a good job for the people in the city. This is not a 21-year-old kid out of the academy. This is an adult. And we've saved 6 months of that salary now. I'm not ready to make that offer or do anything any further, but I may bring it to you because we're looking at, a lot of times we're having to call the county in Webb City to back our officers because we've got one on. So that eliminates a lot of that. And that is where we're at. Because we do have 11. I work the shift I work, 2 of them are in the schools. So it's not like we have to float people out on the road all the time. And I come in and help them. So it may be something I'm bringing to you in the near future. I may wait till after the election, but it is something that we can't, it would be an asset, the experience would be an asset to the city. So it's not somebody on camera.
Okay.
And that's what I haven't done so far, so I have to fill that position. I don't want to gamble. I want the right person to take care of people in the city. So I will bring that to you in the future, and I want to make you aware of that. He knows what's going on, but he's definitely interested, so see how it goes.
Very good. Anything for the chief again? No. Thank you, chief.
We could add that to our discussion Tuesday also.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, you don't have to have exactly what it is. Just tell Mary Beth. She's gonna post it.
There you go.
New business. Gary,
So, sir,
Mark,
Nothing, Mayor.
Mike,
I do have a few things. First of all, I noticed south of me in Richmond Heights there, it looks like they're continuing more development. Looks like they're getting ready to put another road in, maybe further south of Wisteria Lane
In
there.
Wisteria
And I know at one point, I saw 11 years ago when I moved into a plat map, and since I've lived there, I've seen that field full of water 4 or 5 times. And where this road is going is where water gets, and it's not just a 500-year flood. I'm talking, I've seen water there often. We're getting really close to putting houses in a definite known flood zone. I don't know if that's been revisited in a long time since this original plat map was drawn, or what's going on. Jimmy's shaking his head because he's seen it too. And I don't know that it's a great idea to continue to build further south of me there. I don't know what needs to be looked at. There is, as long
I'll
as you
send the
stay,
answer, so I'll put an email
okay,
together.
as long as we stay to the west, it's south of what would be Rustic Ridge. Water doesn't seem to, I haven't seen the water on that side, but as we go further east, straight south of Hodge and straight south of Angel Lee, the water has gotten, I've seen almost at the back of the house in Remington Circle, and now we're going the 2 roads south of that. So I don't know. I think that's a bad idea to continue to build any
I'll see if
further.
I can pull some maps for you, and I'll give you an email.
And I had pictures when I first moved in, like, wow, look at all the water down here. And I've taken pictures, and I don't know that I still have documents of pictures of where the water gets to, but I'm sure there are residents down there that have it. I don't know. It wasn't just the 500-year, supposed 500-year flood we had. This is a pretty typical spring flood that field floods. So that was my first thing. I think we need to look at that before we do too much more development down there. Second thing is this is to I'm Satterley in the Public Facilities and LaDonna in the Budget Committee. At Lakeside Park there, of course, you know, that's where we're playing soccer currently. And soccer's spring season and a fall season, so about 20 weeks a year that facilities, the Lakeside Park's being used. And on a Saturday, we bring in about 400 to 500 people using that park. I wager to say that's probably the biggest tourist attraction, not tourist attraction, but the biggest draw in Carl Junction right now, besides a Friday night football game, is 400 or 500 people using that park. It's also not the sightliest thing, and to have the porta potties out there. So the sooner that we could start planning and doing what we need to do to get some permanent facilities out there at Lakeside, because like I said, it's definitely being used, and there's definitely a real need right now for a permanent there. And the other thing to go with that also, some permanent trash cans would be nice. We have some 55-gallon barrels out there, and those barrels are like covered in oil or something. I don't know. I dump the trash out of there, and I get myself just filthy every time. I don't know if we could have some permanent trash facilities down there. Something nice and decorative would be nice there at Lakeside. I know the 55-gallon barrels work fine, but they're just kind of a mess. And take it from me, I dump the trash after the soccer games on Saturday, and I get oil or something all over my hands every time just pulling that bag out of there. So anyway, we just have some needs to continue to improve Lakeside Park down there.
I'm sure it isn't snow cone flavoring.
It's greasy.
Did you like it?
No, I didn't like it. And we could probably get rid of some of those extra barrels that are down there also. I think they brought them in for that tournament they had today. So we really need about 3 barrels down there, and the rest of those can be hauled back off if we have somewhere to go with them. Appreciate it. I think that's everything I have. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Anything for Mike or anything? LaDonna?
One thing that I forgot that actually should have been in old business, and then the second one, have we heard anything back from the bank yet on financing? Or are we still waiting on that?
No, our banker took a couple of days off, so.
Okay. Also, the only other thing I have, and it's old and new business, 4 weeks from today is the public safety tax question on the ballot. And there are fact sheets available through the city if anybody wants to get one so they can answer questions. That's all I have.
Okay. Well, you just jogged my memory. I guess this Saturday at 9:00, there's a ribbon cutting over here for the trail, walking the, I want to call it Jack Ruby. The Ruby Jack Trail. I always get that mixed up. That's kind of a bad name to have, especially a guy like me that has dyslexia, So,
Yeah.
but anyway, which is on Ivy, I think, just on the other side of 171.
Aren't they doing it in Orinoco?
No, that's where the
That's where the ribbon cutting is.
festivities are, starting at 10:00.
It's at 290 at 9, 270 at 9.
Okay, go on ahead, Roger. Richard?
I have a question, a little old, a little new. The Mexican restaurant, are they still interested in buying it, or has the pandemic stopped that?
Oh, no, they're still interested in buying it.
Okay, what,
We're coming up to the time frame and start negotiations with them.
okay, I'm talking with our senior committee, and really made a mistake years ago. I should have got 10 or 15% out of that rental, and we're looking. Well, we gave you the building. We gave the city the building. And I made a mistake by saying, okay, you got it all, you build us a new center. But I think we could have got a little bit for the policy committee. And we're talking about, we may need some money on the budget, which we'll come up with and ask for. Yeah, that's all I have here.
Okay. Rick, new business.
Talk about the Ruby Jack Trail. They're also gonna have a bike ride, all kinds of stuff going on. But what I was wondering, they're saying how it's completed. We still got all the way from where they stopped, all the way to state line. I don't know, I know it's Joplin Trails Coalition and all that, but is that something that we could get involved in?
Well, they got it from 171. They're over to,
It's developed all the way up to JJ already.
Well, from JJ on then, sorry.
yes.
Yeah.
I went and looked at it the
That's
other day.
not,
But it's not really very well developed west of 171 either.
No, once
yeah, well, there's that connector between the railroad track, making it across the railroad tracks in 171 that we've struggled with years. And I talked to Joplin Trails Coalition about how they could get across that and around. It's kind of a,
Yeah.
they do everything by grants, from my understanding. I tried to get them to do something down closer to the church. I wanted to connect to our property or something, but they're willing to give expertise and advice, but not much more than that. But I don't know if there's something.
the church could build their own trail over to it if they wanted to.
If you want to start coming and then that'd be great too. But no. All right, wrong place, switch hats. No, but once you cross JJ, yeah, it's pretty underdeveloped. The reason I say that is because I wreck there on my bike every time the gravel changes.
Don't do that.
It is pretty bad.
It's pretty rough on that side. What a little learner.
Anything else?
No, sir. I was just stalling for you mostly.
Thank you. I know what I was going to say. Mr. Talent, Elena,
No, sir.
Mary Beth,
Yes.
Crystal,
No, sir.
Steve,
I am not following that up.
Chief. I was going to say, I don't know if you guys got the thing in the mail. This doesn't apply to everybody on this council, but if you want to vote early and you're over 65, you can just go down to the courthouse there at 6th and Pearl. I did it last Thursday, about 2:30, walked in there. I'm the only person there. So I voted and did that early. That way, I don't have to stand in line for an hour and a half at the thing there, because you're going to have social distancing there on those lines and everything. It's going to be a nightmare. I'd highly recommend it because there's not hardly anybody there. You give in your driver's license and your voter card, and they just go in and get you the right ballot and fill it out and put it in the machine.
Let me add to that. I voted already at Charlie Davis's office at Carthage, and nobody was there.
Nobody's, I mean, I went to city clerk's office in Joplin. It's for the county clerk's office in Joplin. So that's the only thing I had. Is there any other business before the council?
Move that we adjourn, Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Mark Satterley, second by LaDonna Allen, that we adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative, 2 absent. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
I think it's nice all things that we do for the elderly.
We're not there yet.
Close.
LaDonna's pushing it.